Well, it's at Senior Mash, and it's another week on my substack and my rugby journey, and one that I find quite unbelievable. It's week 22. Thanks for all your support. For those of you who like what I do, please do hit subscribe. Can't do this without you. Really appreciate you taking the time to listen in, have a look at what I'm doing. This time, with the Six Nations upon us, I actually decided to do some different things. I've even written a match report, which was quite weird. Having seen the France-Wales game, I thought, let me be a reporter. It's on Substack. If you get a chance, have a look. Let me know what you think. If you like it, give it a subscribe, thumbs up, comments, more than welcome. Anyway, that's me. Just wanted you to know there's a real person behind this. This isn't AI. This is at Senior Mash. And I reviewed the Six Nations rugby, and as they would say in the old days, it flew off the shelf. And it is a view from the sideline. I'm not claiming I'm an ex-player. I'm not claiming that I'm a sports journalist. I'm just claiming that I want to encourage people to go and watch sport, live sport, support their local clubs, and that's my aim. So week one of the Six Nations, France 43, Wales 0, Scotland 31, Italy 19, Ireland 27, England 22. Yep, very interesting results and huge disappointments for some. And I'm still recovering from the second half in Dublin. What was going on, England? Come on. It was shocking, beyond belief, unexplainable. As I've listened to different pundits in the last 48 hours, I'm not convinced they actually can work out what's happened. In Paris, I thought, well, let me have a look at the game and see if I can get some numbers. Now, I'm not claiming I'm an analyst. I've pretty much done this with pen and paper. So here's my best efforts of what actually happened in the France-Wales game. Wow, pen and paper. You'll see that there's some columns I wasn't able to complete. Tried, but failed pretty badly. I'd said keep an eye out for Antoine Dupont and Gregory Aldred, and sure enough, they were star performers. I'd actually thought that the people to look out for in the Welsh team were Thomas Williams and David Jenkins. Jenkins was completely overshadowed by his second row partner, Will Rowlands. So impressed. What a great effort. And I thought Thomas Williams struggled a little bit. Maybe he was in awe of Antoine Dupont. I'm not entirely sure. Two young wingers made good efforts. Theo Atasagubi and Tom Rogers. I thought Tom Rogers actually looked very lively early on. Well done him. And Jack Morgan, prolific, puts that Welsh shirt on, man possessed. Well done all six on my team there. I all thought you had massive contributions, despite the result being a convincing victory for France. On social media, John Devereux, have a look at the French offsides at each ruck. No one on back foot. Sorry, ref, but you are being very harsh on us tonight. Russ Petty, very good analyst, way better than my analysis. 17th time a Sean Edwards defence has kept an opponent tryless in Six Nations. First time scoreless. I did do some metres gained analysis, and I hope you like that. Nice bar chart on its side, but take a look, let me know what you think about it. And Guinness Men's Rugby Twitter getting the analysis out on Gregory Aldred. 1 try, 19 tackles, 90-metre carries, player of the match. Oh yes. But Jack Morgan, 76 tackles in the last 3 Wales tests, averaged 17 per test. from 2022 to 2025. That's very impressive. And again, Russ Petty on Twitter giving me that data. And interesting, I actually wonder whether the French might try and play Dupont at number 10. John Newcomb, Twitter handle at Rugby Times, making the point. Dupont actually does the work of the 9 and the 10. Is it allowing Entomac to do great things? Maybe not. Maybe not. So, the player of the match on TV, Gregory Aldrit. My pick, Gregory Aldrit. Well done, Gregory. Like this from James Stafford on social media. Do not pass go, do not collect a try. Very interesting. Is that gambling or is that gaming? Not sure. Meanwhile, in Edinburgh on Saturday, Scotland took the win. I'd actually predicted Italy. Delighted for Scotland, but I'd actually thought Italy might just do a job on them. So my top 6 players on the pitch, Rory Darge, Hugh Jones, Finn Russell for Scotland, Sam Negri, Juan Ignacio Brex and Simone Ferrari for Italy. And again, my effort at the analysis, impressive performance by the Scots. And another call out for somebody I picked to keep an eye on, that's Xander Ferguson. Very impressed with him. Well done. Some good stats around the grounds. If you like this type of analysis, let me know. I'll try and do the pen and paper a little better in the weeks to come. In terms of Scotland, there were moments where they were just sublime, and there were other moments when they went off. Need to be a wee bit more consistent, I think. And I think the Italians flattered to deceive in some ways. I thought they could have done more with that centre partnership. And did they really get the best out of the back row? Not entirely sure. On social media, Glasgow Warriors supporting their man Xander, 16 carries, second most by any Scotland player. Played for 69 minutes. Great performance. Don't forget though, it's not just the men's Six Nations that's happening. There's the Six Nations under 20s. And there's some very interesting games. And they're in parallel to the men's senior fixtures. And there's been some good results. In fact, I think I'll keep just putting that sprinkling of Six Nations under 20s throughout my reviews just to keep you on your toes. But again, Glasgow Warriors supporting their man, Rory Darge, who was very, very impactful. Player of the match, on the pitch, on the TV, Hugh Jones, hat-trick, well deserved. I couldn't see past him, to be honest. Well done, Hugh Jones. This one made me laugh. Might not be Monopoly Go, but Lego haggis in the shape of a rugby ball. Fantastic. The game in Dublin by numbers. Oh, I wish I could have kept my pen going for longer. I was so disappointed with that second half. Here I am again trying to do the stats. This time I've gone after, maybe I can't get the column width right, but I've gone after Jameson Gibson Park, Gary Ringrose and Dan Sheehan. And for England, Ben Curry, Ollie Lawrence and Henry Slade. Some good performances, as you can see. But for me, some very, very impactful play from a whole host of Irish players. Loved Tab Byrne. Thought Bundyaki was superb. James Lowe gets under everybody's fingernails, but does it very, very well. But England, what were you doing in that second half? I've seen these reports about your strength and conditioning. Not sure I buy it. I'm really not sure I buy that. Leadership. Marrow did so well in the first 40, but it was almost as if he'd had an argument with the referee going down the tunnel, because when they came out in the second half, it wasn't quite the same. And the England team missed that. Not sure, there's something going on. Need to keep unpicking that. Any ideas, put them in the comments, and don't forget to give me a thumbs up and a like. Two good teams though. I predicted it would be close. First half was pretty much how I thought it was going to go. But I thought Ireland still have something in the tank. Didn't quite expect the capitulation in the sort of 40 to 70 minute period of the second half. Charlie Morgan, Telegraph, Dan Sheehan, pretty jaw-dropping. Got to agree with that. Some people criticising Ben O'Keefe. Should have reversed the penalty conceded by Cunningham South after the push from James Lowe. Then a forward pass for the try. Guess there's no way back for England. Look, I wouldn't have said any of the referees had a perfect Six Nations. However, I don't think they changed the fundamentals of the games in which they officiated. And it's easy being sat on my couch criticising referees. I think it's only fair that I share the printable comments that I see on social media. And of course, play of the round, Gary Ringrose passes 24 metres, a reload of 0.6 seconds to James Lowe, who breaks a tackle and gives a 3.7 metre inside ball to Jamison Gibson Park, who scores. Brian Habana would be proud of those sage analysis. But there was plenty of other social media going on, and Tom English from the BBC had been watching the England-Ireland under-20s and was pretty upset about a card given to Junior Kapoku. Pretty clear-cut red, most people thought. It really felt like a full red according to Tom English, and I've got to say, having seen it, I do tend to agree with him. It looked like men v boys, and he was dishing it out a little bit, I felt, with that one. Meanwhile, for all the criticisms of the Slade-Lawrence axis, I actually thought they had a good game together today. I tend to agree with that particular post. I thought they did. Just like to see Lawrence attacking a little bit more in the middle of the game, sort of from 30 minutes to 65 minutes, rather than being red hot at the beginning and red hot at the end. Slade, lovely little kick through for that opening try. And this was good for me. Don't know who Steve Bland is, but Steve, great post. If you don't think Ben Curry deserves his spot in this team, then you've obviously not watched him for the last 6 months. Totally agree with you. I've got to say, he has been one of my standouts, and I know Borthwick gets a lot of criticism for his selections, but boy, Ben Curry deserved that selection, and he did not let anybody down. He was one of the top players, and he did special things. For the two Curry boys to completely nullify that Irish back row is some achievement, in my opinion. And, I'm going to differ. The official player of the match was Jamison Gibson Park. Well deserved, very well deserved. However, I've got to say, I would have given it to Gary Ringrose, who I thought was outstanding, both in defence, through leadership, and some of the sublime passing was just, so good. So my players of the week were in Paris, Aldrit, in Edinburgh, Hugh Jones, and in Dublin, Gary Ringrose. If you agree with me, give me a thumbs up. If you disagree, put something in the comments. So, plenty going on. Been keeping an eye on social media. And here's some shout-outs, but from across the game. Normally I do National League Rugby, but with it being a Six Nations week, I've taken a few other posts from different locations within the rugby landscape. Hope you enjoy them. Oh, the first one, the table for the Guinness Six Nations. Then, to remind everybody, there's also the Rugby Europe Championship. Really good. I watched the Spain-Netherlands game, thoroughly enjoyed it. And as I mentioned earlier, there's the Six Nations under-20s. Give it a look. Must follow, in my opinion. And, you know, no matter where you look on social media, Rugby Europe are really attempting to up the profile of the game. And so they should, with the likes of Georgia, Spain, Portugal. And if you do get a chance, it's worth following. There's some really good rugby played, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And one of the social media posts that I picked up was about the ITV coverage of the first game, and a sort of view on social media that the team in the studio were reluctant to call out some of the issues. Clearly France were the better team, no doubt about that, but I didn't think it was one of Jill Douglas's best games as the lead presenter, and I would have expected a little bit more bias from Jamie Roberts and Dan Bigger, to be absolutely honest, but hey-ho. Do make sure that, you know, you enjoy the rugby. You know, this isn't about criticising referees, criticising pundits. This is about enjoying it. And social media, there's some of that social media I don't enjoy. I find it a little too vicious. I'm trying to keep a balance, but share. So let me know what you think. And there I am, watching Spain versus Netherlands. And Portugal had a 40-30 victory. Tier 2 rugby, very, very good social media. I enjoy their tweets, very much so. And just a little confirmation of the 55-24 result for Spain versus the Netherlands. Elsewhere, Cambridge Rugby congratulating Ollie Scola on his excellent performance for England under-20s. Good to see. And as they say, great advert for Championship Rugby. And then there's a rumour going around that Roman Ntamak is on his way to Sale Sharks. Wowzer. That'll be interesting. Two others that I liked. There was Harry Titley on social media doing his utmost to promote Sicilians RUFC versus Burton RFC. Give every game your attention. There's some great rugby being played at a local level. Get down to the club, buy a pint, you'll enjoy it, you'll meet new people, and there's some really, really good conversations to be had. And Worthing RFC in the National Leagues, playing against Canterbury, but just intrigued to see Luke Wallace there as the coach. Good to see talented Premiership rugby players making an impact at National 1, National 2. Well done, good to see. Gavin Hastings has put his Lions 15 out there. You'll see that I agree with some of those from the work I've done on the British and Irish predictions. I'll be doing more on that following the second round of the Six Nations. Some good Premiership Cup rugby this weekend. Just a call out to Bedford Blues. Sam Roberts, great on social media, just mentioning just how much he enjoyed that Bedford-Bath game. And I remember 1982 listening to Pennide Radio whilst I was at university in Bradford, and Mr. Powell was one of those presenters, and I've followed him ever since. He's just announced that he's retiring, age 66. Well done, sir. Excellent. You've made sport very, very positive for me. And honestly, Nick Powell, 29 years at Sky, that's quite something. And I've always enjoyed your content, your style. Well done. And there's just a little reminder that Bath Rugby took the game against Bedford 43-26. Oh, and then Stuart Lancaster. Oh, dear me. I just have this feeling that Stuart is a brilliant coach. And whether it was with England or now with Racing 92, maybe that lead role is something that he's not comfortable with. He was so good at Leinster. Leo Cullen took all the rubbish and let Stuart Lancaster demonstrate what a phenomenal coach he actually is. I really rate his coaching ability. Let's see how he finds his way back in. Everyone's talking about head coach at Munster, head coach at Leicester. Pick the right thing for you, Stuart, please. And Talking Rugby, as you know, one of my very favourites. Always enjoy seeing their winning ways. And 2 wins this last weekend. You'll see Ian Jackson. Ian was at Hutton Grammar School, along with a couple of guys that I used to catch the bus from sunny Rufford into Hutton Grammar School. Ian doing a tremendous job at Talking Rugby, and the team seems to be going from strength to strength on the pitch. As always, big thank you to everybody on social media for making rugby such an enjoyable game. Whether I'm at the game or whether I'm watching it on my phone, thank you. Guinness Six Nations Twitter, you're a dream. Really great content. England Rugby Twitter, yeah, sometimes you're good, but sometimes improvement. But thank you. BBC and ITV, well done over the weekend. Overall, no complaints. Talking Rugby Union, as ever, thank you for your support. Thank you for your effort to keep me relevant. And I hope my perspectives are different. I'm seeing rugby through a different lens and giving other people who are new to rugby some perspectives. And Substack, give me a follow. And to all our mates who we watched the game with, thanks for being our mates. And particularly massive thanks to you for listening, and can't thank you enough. If you do like what you're hearing, please a like or a follow. Talking Rugby Union, put this onto their YouTube channel, and if that's easier for you to access, please go to that YouTube channel. If not, try me through Substack. Thank you so much, and until the next time, take care.